We've got to talk about how in the past 10 years only one team has actually captured the regular season championship and the postseason championship, and that was us in 2009. So, you know, as much as you don't like to tell your team you just have to get in, it really boils down to that. As long as you're one of the top 4 teams that qualify for the tournament, you have as good a chance as anyone to be the one that advances onto the NCAA regionals. So we'll talk about that a little bit today at practice, and you know, with school over right now and guys just being able to concentrate on baseball, I don't think there'll be a need for much motivational talks and speeches. I think they're ready to play, and we'll go down and give us our best shot. Well, in a series, you know, you're going to play all 4 games or 3 games, whatever the case may be. In these tournaments, you have to play for that game. You know, we may do some unconventional things in a tournament on a game-by-game basis in terms of who we go to out of the bullpen, and maybe a guy who hasn't, you know, worked too much out of the pen or been a bridge guy or even a closer might see himself in that situation. So you have to play for that game, and I think you worry about the next game, you know, when you get to that. So it's take care of business in the game you're playing, and then kind of move on and hopefully advance from there.
It's important not to think long-term necessarily in the conference tournament. You got to take it one pitch at a time, you know, one at bat at a time, one pitch at a time, and one play at a time. You can't play the first game thinking if we lose this, we're in a bad spot. That's not the way you need to approach it. You just gotta go out there, and you know, it's easier said than done, and it's difficult, but you gotta play and let the game happen, as opposed to trying to put pressure on yourself and do too much.
The biggest thing that we need to do is, if we do make a mistake, we can't let that kind of compound upon what's already been happening in the game. We have to be able to come back and make the next play, because every single one of these teams in the conference are very good, and if you give them extra outs, they could be pretty bad. So we just have to make sure that we're playing clean, fundamental baseball.
Like our #1 guy, Mike Augliera, has been as consistent and as good as anyone in the conference all year. He may not win Pitcher of the Year when the postseason awards are announced tomorrow, because maybe his 1-loss record or the fact that, you know, we weren't able to win enough games for him this year. But in my eyes and in my estimation, he is the best pitcher in the conference. So I feel very good that he will give us a chance to win on Wednesday in the opener, and that's all you can ask any of your players, but especially your starting pitchers, to do, is put yourself in position to keep the game close and have a chance to win in the end.
You can't put pressure on yourself. You know, I have the utmost faith in my offense to score runs for me, and you know, I've been spoiled my first 3 years here, because you know, they'd score 10 runs a game for me. So you know, I could throw a bad game, I still get a win. This year's been a little different, but I still like I said, I have the most confidence in my offense, and you know, I don't worry about the runs that I give up, because I know that our team will come back the next thing and give them back for me.
Our approach offensively is having productive at-bats, and that means moving runners over via a sacrifice bunt, maybe hitting behind guys and hit-and-run situations, maybe squeeze, safety squeeze, all those little things that can kind of, you know, work for you and try to steal runs from opponents. And I think that's what happens in these types of tournaments. I think you see a lot of 2-1 and 3-1 type games, and very rarely do you see, you know, big numbers being thrown on the board offensively, because everyone's top arms are ready to go. So I think it's the teams that execute offensively, you know, combined with, you know, pitching and defense, who are the ones that end up advancing and moving on.